Discussion is HDL Design Part 5. Objective of this lecture is to make the students familiarize with VHDL code and anatomy. This is the detailed anatomy of VHDL code. So first block we can see as the library. This library includes the different components, packages. The package may include function, procedure, types and constants. So user can write their own functions and procedures, and if it is stored in package, then it can be called as a library element. Then the next part of the visual code is entity. This entity may take the information from some generics which are already defined, and it includes the declaration of different ports of the system. Ports means the inputs and outputs. After this second part, the third part of this VHDL code is the architecture. Now this architecture may have different styles which are called as the modeling styles. The style 1 is data flow, style 2 is behavioral, and style 3 is structural. In this data flow architecture, only concurrent statements can be written. In the behavioral architecture structure, we can write a process and we can include both type of statements, that is concurrent as well as sequential. And the last modeling style is called as the structural modeling, in which the components are defined and those components are declared in a package so that it can be called repeatedly whenever required in the architecture. So it is a type of a code reuse, and the model is more hierarchical. Now we'll go into the details of each and every part of this VHDL code. So first we'll go for the library. So library is a collection of compiled VHDL unit, and it enables sharing of compiled design and hides the source code from the user. Commonly used functions, procedures, and user data types can be compiled into a user-defined library for use with all designs. So it is a common area which can be accessed through the different architectures and the different programs, and hence here we can keep the codes which are called as the library components, which can be called and by writing some statements in the library declaration. So library should be declared before each entity declaration, even if it is in the same VHDL file. So in the structure of the VHDL code, it is must that at the starting we should have the library declaration. The second part of this is the entity declaration. Before that, we'll see some more details of library. So to declare a library, that is to make it visible to the design, two lines of code are needed, and the one containing name of the library and the other use clause. The library structure can be as follows. So we have a library, and inside that library we have package, and inside a package we have functions, procedures, types, constants and components. So how to declare the library and which are the different types of libraries available. So this is the syntax for library declaration. So we have to write the keyword library, then some name of the library is written, and then the semicolon, and then we have to use the clause use, that is use, library name dot the package name dot the package parts. This is the syntax for the library. The example is written as library IEEE. The name of library is IEEE, and then we will use the clause use IEEE dot std underscore logic underscore 1164.all. This is one example. Or there is one more example, that library name is work. So library work use work.all. So whatever may be the name of that library, that we have to write, and then .all. That is the syntax. So library is the keyword, then name of the library, then use name of the library .all. This is the syntax for calling any library file. So at the starting of each VHDL code, we have to declare the library. Now, which type of libraries are available to use in VHDL? Those are mentioned over here. That is IEEE.math_complex.all. So this package defines the standard for designers to use in describing the VHDL models that make use of common complex constants. So instead of complex, if you want to use real numbers and real constants, then go for IEEE.math_real. If you want to go for numeric values or bit values, then IEEE.numeric_bit.all can be used. So based on which type of variables or constants you will be using, whether it is a complex number, real number, or a bit number, as per that we have to declare the library. Then there is one standard library which we will be using more frequently, that is IEEE.std_logic_1164.all. So this package defines a standard for designer to use in describing the interconnection data type used in VHDL modeling, and it defines the multi-valued logic type and related functions. So that 9-valued logic is available for this library, and mostly we will be using this. Next library is IEEE std_logic_arith. So for arithmetic operations like comparison, conversions, we will be using this library. Next is some miscellaneous library, then again signed, text IO, unsigned. So for that the different libraries can be used or called. So you'll see one example of this library declaration. Use IEEE.numeric_bit.all. So as it is only numeric_bit type of library, so there will be a 2-valued logic used in the program. So only logic 0 and logic 1 will be considered. Instead of that, if we'll go for use IEEE.std_logic_1164.all, then 9-valued logic can be used, like uninitialized, forcing unknown, forcing 0, forcing 1, high impedance, weak unknown, weak 0, weak 1, don't care. All these type of logic will be considered, and we will be using this library in all our VHDL codes. Then the next part of the VHDL code is entity. So library declaration, just now we have studied, and now we will be going for this entity. Entity, it is the design's interface to the external circuitry. So here we will be mentioning the input ports and output ports of the design. So it is equivalent to the pinout or the package of the IC, that is the IO pins of the IC. Similar to that, we will be doing the declaration inside this entity. VHDL design must include one and only one entity per module. So for any VHDL code, there will be only single entity where we have to declare all the input ports and output ports of the system. It can be used as a component in other entities after being compiled into the library. So if similar input output ports are to be used and called many times, we can write it as a component and we can compile it into the library so that we can call it in the other architectures. This entity declaration, it defines the input and output ports. Just now I discussed. So name of the entity can be anything other than the reserved VHDL word. So this is the syntax. So we have to write the keyword entity, then entity name. So a name, while writing the name of this entity, the name should be self-explanatory, that provides the information about its function, and then we have to declare about the data flow direction or the mode and a type. So if you'll see this declaration, entity is the keyword, then the name of the entity, any XYZ name you can give, then is, again it is a keyword, and then we have to write again the next keyword port, and inside a round bracket we can write the names of input and output ports. So what is the syntax for that? First write the port name, any ABCD, like A is the port name, then the signal mode and the signal type is also to be mentioned. While selecting the name of the port also, it should be self-explanatory, and like if it is a full adder, then the output of that full adder will be sum and carry. So accordingly you can give the name for the port so that it will be easier for you. Otherwise I can give some X and Y, but which is sum, which is carry, that you have to remember. So instead of that, the name should be selected in such a way that it is self-explanatory. Then the mode, whether it is an input or an output, that is to be specified, and then the type, whether it is a bit type, it is a 9-valued logic, it is an integer, that is to be specified. Port should be well documented with comments at the end of the line providing additional information about the signal. So we can give the detail of the pin. I'll see the examples of this. So what is this mode and how to declare the mode? Ports in the port list have modes which indicate the driver direction, whether it is the signal is to be outputted or signal is to be inputted. Based on that, mode also indicate whether or not the port can be read from within the entity. So 4 modes are available, that is mode in, mode out, and then mode in out, or a mode buffer. So if it is that pin is to be assigned, or that signal is to be assigned as an input, then we can declare the mode as in. This is the example. So in the entity you can see the signal A is coming, and then we can declare that as port inside a round bracket, name of that port, that it is given as A, type is input, so not type, it is a mode, and then the type, so mode is in and the type is STD logic, that is the standard logic. It may be bit also, like in bit, so there will be only 2 valued logic. If it is a STD logic, it is a 8 valued logic. If it is STDU logic, then it will be a 9 valued logic. Then for a port B, if you see the signal is coming out of the entity, so it is of the type out, so mode is out and the type of the signal is STD logic. Then the next one is of in out type, so we can use that signal as an input signal as well as an output signal. So I can declare it as port C, mode is in out, and the type is STD logic. Or here it is a buffered signal, so I can write it as D, buffer STD logic. So this is one example in which some input and output ports are shown. So this is the block diagram, and these are the inputs and these are the outputs. So this 1A, 1B, 1Y, all these are inputs. So this A type are combined. So if multiple similar types are there, we can combine them and we can separate it by using comma, like 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, and the type is in, mode is in, and the type is STD logic. So likewise we can have the declaration of entity for this particular block. Again 1B, 2B, 3B, 4B are also in mode, so in STD logic, and this Y, that is 1Y, 2Y, 3Y, 4Y are having that mode out, and the type is std logic. So likewise we can have the declaration of entity, and this is the name entity AND gate is, and once all the ports are declared, at the end we have to write AND and the name of the entity, that is AND gate. This is one more example of entity in which the entity for ALU is declared. What is ALU? That is arithmetic logic unit, which is having the two inputs in1, in2. Then there is one operation select, and then we have the result as the output. We have carry in, we have carry out, we have mode, and then we have a equal. These are the different ports. So in1, that is the input 1, it is in std logic vector. Now there are, instead of having a single bit, now it is a multi-bit or it is a vector type of input, and that is declared as std underscore logic underscore vector and 3 down to 0. This is the size of the vector. So it is a 4-bit vector. Then we have in2, again the type is in std logic vector 3 down to 0. Then we have operation select. It is also a multi-valued, vectored input. So it is also std logic vector 3 down to 0. Then we have cin, that is carry in. So it is in std logic because it is a single bit input. Then we have mode, that is again a single bit input, that is in std logic. Then we have result, which is a vectored output, which is 4-bit. So out std logic vector 3 down to 0. We have cout, which is again out, but it is single bit, so it is only out std logic. And then equal is also a single bit output, so it is declared as out std logic. So likewise we can declare the entity in which all the input and output ports are specified. Then in the VHDL code, the third part is architecture. It specifies the behavior, function, relationship between input and output of any entity. So this is the main part of the VHDL program, in which we have to write the behavior of the circuit, how it will function, and what is the relation between the different input and output ports which we have declared in the entity. And the syntax of this architecture is the keyword architecture, name of the architecture of, here we have to write the name of the entity which we have declared as the second part of the program, is, then the different declarations like constants and all that is to be declared, then begin statement, and then the code which specifies the function or behavior of the circuit is to be written. And once it is finished, the last line will be end name of the architecture. So, and this architecture can be written in different ways. Those are called as the modeling styles. And the modeling styles are data flow, behavioral, and structural. Data flow model means we can write the behavior of the circuit only by using the concurrent statement. So once the program will be executed, all statements will be executed at a time. The another style is the behavioral style, in which a process is to be declared at the starting of the architecture. And by this process we can add the sequential statements also, so that one by one the statements will be executed. Along with sequential statements, concurrent statement can also be used. So behavioral modeling is having the combination of both concurrent and sequential statements. And the third type is the structural modeling, in which the components are declared and then those components can be recalled in the same program many times, so that the code size will be reduced and the reuse of the code is possible in the structural modeling. Thank you.